Hello everybody, there is a lot of confusion around what's happening at Paytm in the market.
The Indian digital payment app Paytm has come under fire.
India's central bank has dropped the hammer on Paytm Payments Bank.
This is a strong move by the Reserve Bank of India. It's a sweeping order.
Well, all this confusion has started with a press release from RBI on Jan 31st.
The Reserve Bank of India has taken decisive action against Paytm Payments Bank.
And the press release highlights persistent non-compliance and continued material supervisory concerns in the bank. And this is a huge thing coming from RBI. Now, what is the impact of this? Let's take a simple example to understand the impact of this particular press release on the entire payments ecosystem. Imagine you going into a Kirana store and you want to pay through a QR code, and the Kirana store owner will give you a QR code. On this QR code card, on the top, you will notice whether it is powered by Paytm, PhonePe, BharatPe, etc. If it is powered by Paytm's Payment Bank, then this particular QR code will not be valid post Feb 29th according to the RBI's release. Now, it is not me saying that. It is actually coming from Paytm's COO. The CEO, COO, CFO, all these guys have come up and held a meeting with the analysts on Feb 1st, the day after the release of RBI's press release. And in that press conference, the CEO specifically mentioned these things. Let's start with the offline merchant where you see a Paytm QR which is powered by Paytm Payment Bank, right? And now that QR has a VPA, a virtual payment admin of the Paytm Payment Bank. Now that QR will have to be changed. The VPA will have to be changed to any other sponsor bank, and we have multiple sponsor banks working with us. Now this is huge because Paytm has close to 30 million merchants who are using Paytm services. Changing these QRs is operationally difficult, and also it means an entire change in the payments ecosystem. And that is the reason why the entire fintech world is coming out in support of Paytm and saying that this particular press release, the RBI's regulatory concerns and the directives could actually halt not just a speed breaker but halt the digital innovation in the country. Now, how this will play out, we'll have to wait and watch. But the impact on the merchant is extremely clear. Lot of confusion around the merchants. The merchants also have another issue, rather Paytm. There are close to 4 lakh plus merchant loans that are enabled through Paytm app. Now, almost 60,000 of these 4 lakh loans are transacted through the Paytm Payment Bank. All these 60,000 loans have an auto payment facility through their Paytm wallets. Now, if the Paytm wallets can't be topped up and if the merchants cannot put money in these wallets, then the auto repayment facilities cannot be enabled. So what happens to these loans? Well, Paytm can probably go and sell these loans to some other person. But the number of loans is huge, so the potential number of bad loans could also increase. That is another concern for Paytm. Now, what is the issue for you and me as a customer? When we go to the Kirana store, we might be using our Paytm wallet to pay for this transaction, and the individual customers can quickly transition to either PhonePe, Google Pay or some other service. But there is a small catch in this. When the Kirana store owner is accepting any kind of payment from the Paytm wallet, they have to pay a certain commission to Paytm because they are using Paytm's wallet for the transaction. Now, if this entire Paytm wallet is not enabled going forward, then Paytm's revenues will go down because they can't get that commission fee on every transaction. There is a lot of financial impact on Paytm. Now the question is why these non-compliance issues popped up, and one of the major reasons is the KYC, know your customer. Paytm Payments Bank is very similar to SBI, HDFC, ICICI or any other bank out there. Just that payment banks cannot issue loans, but they can accept deposits. You can open your Paytm Payments Bank account, you can have a fixed deposit, you can just keep money in your current account, which is indirectly your Paytm wallet, so on and so forth. And to open this account, you have to give your KYC. One of the fundamental pillars of KYC is that this particular data is maintained privately, and the privacy is actually one of the real concerns over here. Paytm and Paytm Payments Bank are two separate entities, and that's one of the first things that I should have started the video with. And the allegation or the concern is that these two are not operating at an arm's length. And what does that mean? In the business world, it means that the data cannot transfer from one organization to the other. When you give a KYC, You fundamentally believe that your personal details are not shared with any third party. And that's a concern over here, that your data might be shared with Paytm, which is a different company altogether. And how can Paytm leverage this information? Well, they can show you the specific type of ads that are coming on top of your Paytm app home screen, or they might show exactly what is the type of loan you might be eligible. A lot of things can be done, multiple use cases, and RBI did not say exactly what are these non-compliance issues. The second issue is that there are close to 35 crores of Paytm wallets, but more than 30 crores of them are not active. And there are multiple instances where one KYC is linked with thousands of Paytm wallets. Now, this is a big issue because if there is any transaction, there has to be one-to-one accountability. And if there is no one-to-one accountability, it's very hard to trace back to who is doing these transactions. And that could lead to a lot of illegal transactions, and it becomes difficult for the governing authorities to go and act on those. A similar type of concern was also raised through the crypto transactions. Now you can see how the governing authorities will have a difficult time, and that is one of the potential reasons for this kind of a harsh order on Paytm. Now, what is the road ahead for Paytm? Paytm's QR codes or Paytm's wallets to continue working, they have to partner with other banks, and Paytm is potentially already looking at partners for them to transfer their wallets business. But other banks are not interested as of now because they don't know what's the mess they are getting into. Again, this story is evolving as we speak, so you might find a different kind of news tomorrow. But the initial repercussions are pretty huge. We can see why the share price has dropped from 1800 to close to 400 where it is right now. Now, if you ask me, it doesn't matter what kind of digital innovation you as an individual or an organization have committed or come up with in the last few years. But if you are not complying with the regulators, there is always a stick that is waiting for you. I hope this video gives you a little more clarity on what's happening at Paytm and how this could impact the entire fintech ecosystem. Do let me know if you want me to continue tracking this story, and also share it with your friends so that they understand the reasons behind the entire confusion in the simplest possible way. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.